The entire office fell silent the moment Vanessa Whitmore laughed. It wasn't a soft laugh, it was sharp, cutting, the kind that makes people look down at their shoes. "Fix this helicopter and I'll kiss you right now," she said loudly, waving the sleek remote-controlled corporate model in the air. "Oh wait, you're just the janitor." A few executives chuckled. Phones lifted discreetly to record. The company's annual innovation gala was in full swing, and the centerpiece, a custom-built promotional helicopter drone, had just crashed into a decorative ice sculpture. And standing beneath the shattered pieces was Daniel Brooks, mop still in his hand. Daniel didn't flinch. He was used to laughter. At 36, he was a single father raising his 8-year-old son, Caleb, alone after losing his wife, Rachel, to cancer 3 years earlier. Since then, life had been a series of double shifts, late-night homework help, and quiet tears no one ever saw. He worked as a janitor at Whitmore Aeronautics, the billion-dollar aviation company owned by Vanessa's family. Most people saw the uniform. They didn't see the degree in mechanical engineering hanging framed in his tiny apartment hallway. They didn't see the job offers he'd turned down years ago to care for Rachel during chemotherapy. They didn't see the dreams he quietly folded away. Vanessa stepped closer, heels clicking against marble. "Come on, Mr. Mop," she said sweetly. "Impress us." The crowd laughed again. Daniel looked at the broken helicopter on the floor. One rotor bent, wiring exposed, internal stabilizer loose. It wasn't complicated. He set his mop aside slowly. "You're sure?" he asked calmly. Vanessa crossed her arms. "What's the worst that could happen?" Daniel knelt. The ballroom buzzed with whispers as he gently removed his janitor gloves and placed them in his pocket. His hands moved differently now, precise, confident. He adjusted the rotor alignment by feel, tightened the stabilizer housing with a serving fork from a nearby table, and rewired the loose connection using thin decorative wire from the floral arrangement. 5 minutes. He stood. "Try it," he said. Vanessa scoffed, but handed the controller to her head engineer, Christopher. Christopher powered it on. The helicopter hummed, lifted, stabilized perfectly. Then it performed a smooth hover rotation that was cleaner than its original demo earlier that evening. Silence fell like a curtain. Christopher stared at Daniel. "How did you?" Daniel simply picked up his mop. Vanessa's smile faded. "Well," she said stiffly, "even a broken clock is right twice a day." But something had shifted. Because the CEO, her father, Edward Whitmore, had been watching. And Edward didn't laugh. The next morning, Daniel was called to the executive floor. People whispered as he stepped into the elevator. Janitors didn't get summoned upstairs. Inside the glass-walled office, Edward Whitmore sat behind a massive desk. "You have an engineering degree," Edward said without looking up. It wasn't a question. Daniel nodded. "Yes, sir." "Top of your class at Georgia Tech." "Yes, sir." "Why are you mopping floors?" Daniel swallowed. He hadn't explained this in years. "My wife was sick. I needed flexible hours. This job allowed me to leave when Caleb needed me." Edward leaned back. "Why didn't you come to me? I fund employee hardship programs." Daniel's voice was steady. "I didn't want charity, I just needed time." For the first time, Edward studied him with something close to respect. "Report to the R&D department tomorrow," he said. "Trial basis." When Daniel stepped out of the building that evening, Caleb ran into his arms like always. "How was work, Dad?" Daniel smiled. "Different." The R&D department wasn't welcoming. Christopher felt threatened. Others whispered that Daniel had manipulated his way upstairs. Vanessa avoided him completely. Until the prototype failure. 3 weeks later, Whitmore Aeronautics faced disaster. Their newest medical evacuation helicopter, a lightweight emergency response model, kept failing stability tests. Investors were losing patience. Millions were on the line. In the lab, tensions ran high. "It's the software," Christopher insisted. "It's not," Daniel said quietly. Vanessa snapped, "Oh, and the janitor knows better." Daniel walked to the model and pointed to the weight distribution frame. "You reduced material here to cut costs," he said calmly, "but you compromised center balance. It doesn't matter how good the software is." Christopher scoffed, "Prove it." Daniel stayed all night. He recalculated the structural distribution, modified the internal bracing, suggested a lighter composite only slightly more expensive but far safer. The next morning, they ran the test again. The helicopter lifted. Steady. Perfect. Edward Whitmore stood in the observation room, arms folded. When the machine completed its full test cycle without a single fault, applause erupted. Vanessa didn't clap. She looked at Daniel differently now, not with mockery, but with something she didn't quite understand. That night, as Daniel walked home, he received a call from Caleb's school. There had been an accident on the playground. Caleb had fallen badly. Daniel's heart nearly stopped. At the hospital, doctors examined Caleb for hours. A minor concussion, thankfully, but watching his son lying in that bed brought back every memory of Rachel's hospital room. Fear, helplessness. Vanessa showed up unexpectedly. She stood awkwardly by the doorway holding a small toy helicopter. "I heard," she said softly. Daniel blinked in surprise. "How?" "My father keeps tabs on people he values." There was a pause. "I was cruel to you," she said quietly. "That night I thought success meant dominance. I was wrong." Daniel didn't respond immediately. He looked at Caleb, then back at her. "Pain changes people," he said. Vanessa nodded. "Teach me," she said suddenly. "Not about helicopters, about what you have, that strength." Over the following weeks, something unusual formed. Not romance. Respect. Vanessa began spending time in the engineering lab, not issuing commands but listening. She visited community centers funded by the company. She met Caleb, who instantly liked her because she tries hard. Christopher eventually admitted Daniel had saved the project. And Edward Whitmore made a public announcement at the next corporate gala. Standing in front of hundreds of investors and employees, he cleared his throat. "3 months ago, my daughter mocked a man for wearing a janitor's uniform," he began. The room stiffened. "That man is now the lead structural engineer behind our most successful medical helicopter launch." Daniel stood frozen in the crowd. Edward gestured toward him. "Talent doesn't disappear because life gets hard, and dignity isn't defined by job titles." Applause thundered. Vanessa stepped forward. In front of everyone, she looked at Daniel. "I said I'd kiss you if you fixed a helicopter," she said lightly. The audience laughed nervously. She shook her head. "But what I really owe you is gratitude. You fixed more than that." Instead of a kiss, she extended her hand. Daniel took it. And this time, no one laughed. Months later, Whitmore Aeronautics launched its emergency helicopter program nationwide, saving countless lives. Daniel designed a scholarship fund in Rachel's name for single parents pursuing technical degrees. Vanessa restructured the company's hearing policies to focus on hidden talent. And every evening, no matter how big the meetings or how important the contracts, Daniel still walked Caleb to school. Because success, he had learned, wasn't about proving people wrong. It was about staying right within yourself. The man they mocked with a mop ended up lifting far more than a helicopter. He lifted a company. He lifted a future, and he never needed a kiss to prove his